If you've already created a Materia widget and you'd like to use it in your Canvas course site, you'll want to start with the Assignments tab. From here, you'll want to add a new assignment, name the assignment. In my case, I'm going to use Scenario 1. This points value is important. The widget itself will return to Canvas with a percentage of 0 to 100 based on the student's performance. And that percentage will be multiplied by the points value that you specify here to determine the grade that will go into the Canvas gradebook. So you'll want to adjust that points value accordingly. For example, if I assign a points value of 20 and the student receives a score of 50% in the widget, Canvas will multiply that 50% by the 20 to end up with the 10 points that will go into the Canvas gradebook. For Materia widgets, you'll want to select External Tool and select the Find button. Scroll through the list and locate and select Materia. This will open the list of Materia widgets that you have already customized. In my case, I know I want to use Scenario 1, so I will select the Use This Widget button. Give it a couple of seconds to incorporate the widget, and then choose the Select button to populate the URL to your widget. Scrolling down, you can set all of the other assignment settings as you wish, including things like assigning to specific students or sections, setting a due date, or setting the available from or until date if needed. At this point, we're ready to save and publish the assignment. Keep in mind that if you want students to be able to see the assignment, you'll also need to publish it. If you don't want students to be able to access it just yet, you'll only want to save. In my case, I'm going to save and publish so that I can take a look at the widget as a student. I'm now returned to the regular assignment view. As an instructor, you will always see this message about the widget being successfully embedded in the course, but students will see the widget itself instead. If you'd like, you can preview the widget in a new browser tab, and then you can close that tab to return to Canvas. If you need to revisit any of those assignment settings, you can use the Edit Assignment Settings option. In my case, I'm happy with my assignment settings. I'd like to take a look at the widget in Canvas as a student, as suggested by the message at the bottom. So I'm going to return to my course homepage. And from here, if I select Student View, I can see my course site from the perspective of a student. So as a student, I'm going to go over to my assignments, and notice I have Scenario 1 here in my assignment list. There are 20 points available. So I'm going to select the assignment, and notice for me as a student, the widget itself loads instead of that message that I saw as an instructor. This particular widget is just a very simple example of the Choose Your Own Adventure, so I'm just going to click through quickly just so that we can get to the scoring. Notice the widget has assigned a score of 100%, and that will be multiplied by the points value that were specified in the assignment settings to determine the grade for the Canvas gradebook. If I return to assignments as a student, notice I have now earned my 20 out of 20 points for the assignment. Now if I exit the student view, of course it's perfectly fine to have students access the widget from the assignments area if that's how you have your course designed. However, in many cases you'll want to add that assignment to a module. And so to do that, we'll go over to Modules. I'm going to add my assignment to Module 1. And so in Module 1, I'll select the Add Item. This is an assignment, so we don't need to really select anything there. I can choose Scenario 1, that's my widget assignment, and add item. The widget is added to the bottom of the module, and because the assignment is already published, I don't need to do that here, although I can unpublish if needed if no students have submitted.